Now we start with the second part of the video session, which contains the identification of survey sheet, reading the grid reference, scale, area, representation of relief, directions, and measuring distance. I told you that identification of survey sheet is very important as to familiarize yourself with the survey sheet. This is the main question in your board examination carrying 20 marks. Unless you know about the topographical survey sheets and its layout, how would you solve the answers, solve the questions? Now, the number of this particular survey sheet in front of you is G43S10. We will not go into detail because generally this shows the area of our country of which this survey has been done. So here this contains the parts of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Mostly the parts are dry, and you can see in general the streams are shown in black, which shows the area gets seasonal rainfall. The RF of the survey sheet, that is 1:50,000, shows that 1 centimeter on the map or 1 inch on the map shows 50,000 inches or centimeters on the ground. So this means representative fraction. The scale of the map is shown here. 2 centimeters equal to 1 kilometer. That means each square is of 2 centimeter each, showing 1 kilometer. That means if the area is asked of the survey sheet given to you, the extract of the survey sheet is having 10 squares by 10 square, it would mean 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer, showing the 100 square kilometer area. So generally this is known as a grid. A grid consists of easting and northing. Easting is the vertical lines and northings are the horizontal lines. Now, why are they called easting and northing? Because eastings are numbered from west to east and the northings are numbered from south towards north. Network of easting and northing, as you can see on the survey sheet, is called a grid. Contour heights are always given in brown. You can see the contours in this given, they are all in brown color. The yellow color in the survey sheet shows the cultivable land. The sun features are always depicted in brown. You will see the speckled brown dots which show that the area is a desert or a arid region, or it is an arid region. The area gets scanty rainfall. We can depict by looking at the conventional signs and symbols that the area is getting scanty rainfall or the seasonal rainfall because all the rivers and the ponds are dry. How do we know they are dry? Because they are shown in black. The ponds are shown in black and the rivers are also shown in black. The streams are given in black color. The occupation of the people, if we have to study, it is cultivation. You can answer in the same manner. If their question comes, what is the occupation of the given survey sheet? We can say it is cultivation because it is colored yellow. Now we come to the grid reference. I told you the grid is the point where the where you see the squares. These squares which are of 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter, ultimately showing 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, and wherever the easting and northing intersect each other, that shows the particular point, the location of that particular point. So here the location of point P is here, and the grid reference, 4-figure grid reference of point P is 25 575 shows the 4-figure grid reference of point P. To find out the exact position of the point P, we have to study the 6-figure grid reference. What is a 6-figure grid reference? 6-figure grid reference is given within the 4-figure grid reference. For example, here 2575 is the 4-figure grid reference of point P. Now, if we wish to find out the exact position where the easting and northing of this grid intersect each other, showing the position of P, we must divide it mentally into 10 parts. Now, when I say mentally, it means that generally we can find out which is the 5th part of this easting and which is the 5th part of this northing. Now, if we know that, and we have to find the 6-figure grid reference of point P, we can see that it is located on the 5th part of the easting and the 6th part of the northing. See, this is 5, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the 6th part of the northing. So, here on this P point, the 5th part of the easting and the 6th part of northing are intersecting each other. Now, to find out the 6-figure grid reference, we see 255 and 756. This gives us the 6-figure grid reference of point P. You have to really practice on this to find out, to get the correct 6-figure grid reference. Sometimes in the examination they give the 6-figure grid reference and they ask you to locate or identify the conventional sign given there. So you have to be familiar with the 6-figure grid reference. Here it is given to find the 6-figure grid reference of point P. Note the 4-figure grid reference, that is 2575. Divide the coordinates of x and y into 10 equal parts. Since 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer square has been divided into 10 parts, each is of 0.1 kilometer or 100 meter by 100 meter. Generally, we do it mentally because it would take too much time to draw all these squares. So as I told you, just mentally divide it into x coordinate into half, showing the 5th part, and the y coordinate into half. So it shows the easting and northing into half and half, showing the 5th part of each. And then looking at the point of which you have to find out the 6-figure grid reference, you can calculate according to the 4-figure grid reference. For example, here it is 255 and 756. Now we come to the scale. Scale is very important to measure the distances or calculate the area. The universal scale is the representative fraction which is given at the end of each of the survey sheets. 1:50,000. That means the distance on the map upon the distance on the ground. Now, this means 1 centimeter on the map represents 50,000 centimeters on the ground. This is called universal scale because it is universally accepted. The verbal scale is by, we just say, okay, this wall is about 5 feet high, or the ground is, we can just mention it verbally that it is about 2 feet by 2 feet. This shows approximate scale which is not acceptable mostly for calculating the distance or area, and it is not very popular. Linear scale is what is given at the bottom of your survey sheet, where it shows the actual scale given in with the calculation 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. That is the scale of the map. Here, this scale is drawn. This linear scale shows 6 kilometer on the right of the 0 and the 1 kilometer on the left. You know there are 1000 meters in 1 kilometer. Now, when we are discussing this, you will see each compartment is of 2 centimeter to collaborate with the survey sheet. And in the left, the 1 kilometer or 1000 meters are divided into 10 parts, showing each small square representing 100 meters. Now, it is used generally for measuring the distances by scale or by thread. This we'll be discussing when we are studying about the distance, the measuring the distances. When we are calculating the area, we are doing it on the basis of the scale, which is 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. When we are calculating it, all of you know it is length into breadth is equal to area. Now, in this case, if you see the survey sheet given has 10 squares showing 10 kilometers, because the scale of the map is 2 centimeter and is equal to 1 kilometer, and each square is of 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter. Here you may not find it so because it is on the screen. You have to make it into 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter because the survey sheets what you get in the examination are of the same measurement. So each square would be of 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter representing 1 kilometer. So here, if you see the survey sheet which will be given to you in the examination, it will be about 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer is equal to 100 square kilometer. So the area of the survey sheet given to you would be 100 square kilometer. So this is how we calculate the area. But sometimes when the square is less than half, we leave it, discard it, and if the square is more than half but less than full, we can take it as full. This is the rule when we are calculating the area. Now we come to the most important aspect of the survey sheet, that is representation of relief on the map. As I told you when we were doing the conventional signs and symbols, contours are the imaginary lines, drawn on the map to show the height above sea level. It joins all the places having the same elevation or same height. Now, in this case, you can see in grid square 9782 the contours showing a conical hill. Anyway, the features will be discussed in the later slide. The height can be shown also by benchmark showing 200 meters, that is the height above sea level is 200 meters. The spot height showing that the height of that particular point is 240 meters. The triangulated height, that is shown by a triangle beside it, that the particular survey has been done by triangulated method and the height of that particular point is 300 meters. And as I told you, the contours is an imaginary line going through all the places which are at the same height or elevation. Now, whenever they ask you, okay, what is that brown line within that grid reference, you have to define the contour. You just don't say it is a brown line. You have to say it is a contour and the definition of the contour must be stated. Now, what is an index contour? You see, the contour interval is only 20 meters. Now, we cannot go on drawing very, very small contours to show the height of a mountain or a hill. So, every fifth contour is taken as 100 meters, and that is why it is darkened. You can see The darkened contour is the index contour, right? In this also you can see every fifth contour is dark because very small contours are not really visible. Generally, the question that comes on the contour is also on the spacing. You can see that some contours are drawn very close together. On the other hand, some are drawn far apart. This is to show the gentle slope and steep slope. Now the spacing of the contour on the survey sheet shows the gentle slope and the steep slope. Whenever the contours are drawn close together, they show the steep slope, and whenever they are drawn far apart, they show the gentle slope. The contour interval between the two contours is 20 meters. So it is called the one vertical interval. Vi is equal to 20 meters. You can see here the gentle slope and the steep slope. This is here the contours are drawn close together, whereas here for gentle slope they are drawn far apart. Now these are some of the features represented by the contours. Now a conical hill, you can see, is shown in this manner with the height increasing as we go up. This is called a conical hill. In this survey sheet, you can see in the grid square 9782, you can see a conical hill shown by the contours. Next comes a ridge. A ridge is a lower area which is represented by a longitudinal contour, and it divides. It is also known as a water divide or a watershed. Here in this particular survey sheet, you can see a ridge showing in grid squares 9474, 9575, 9676. It is showing the longitudinal kind of hill which is dividing the two drainage systems. Can you see? These are the two drainage systems, and this ridge is dividing it into two parts. Now that is why it is called a water divide or a ridge or a watershed, because it is dividing two drainage systems. There is a pass between the two hills which is shown by the gap. This particular gap, when it is too much, it is called a pass. When it is less, it is called a col, and when it is even less, it is called a saddle. In the textbook, you will find this in detail. The cliff is where some of the contours merge together to show a cliff. It forms a waterfall. In the survey sheet, you may see a fall with 10R written there on the survey sheet. It means that this is a steep slope showing the formation of a waterfall with 10R, means the relative height of the waterfall is 10 meters. Here you can see a plateau. Plateau is having a less height, say about 300 to 400 meters, and it is showing a flat land on top. This is called a plateau. So the survey sheets here are in oval. The contour lines are shown in oval shape, which are showing the plateau, formation of a plateau. Now we come to the directions. Directions are very important component of survey sheets. Everything, whatever is studied, any study that is done on the survey sheet is with the help of directions. The 4 cardinal points you are aware of are north, south, west and east. In between, you can see northeast, southwest, northwest and southeast. So we study all the 8 cardinal points for measuring the distances, finding the direction, and between the direction of the flow of the river. Direction of the flow of the river is always maintained by the direction given here. Now, suppose there is a question on in which direction is the Sipu Nadi flowing. Now, we have to first look at the spot heights. You can see the 242, 237. This means the spot heights are receding from northeast towards southwest. Now, if they are receding from northeast to southwest, that means the river is flowing from northeast to southwest because the slope of the land is such. And that is why we can answer that the river is flowing from northeast to southwest. Sometimes there is a question in the survey sheet, in your examination paper, that say here on which bank of the river is Nimbora situated or Mitan situated. To answer this question, you must follow certain steps. First step is to look at the spot heights. Now here the spot heights are receding from 242 towards 237. It is from northeast to southwest. So we find out that the Sipu Nadi is flowing from northeast towards southwest. Now to find on which bank of the river is the Mitan village situated, we have to find the source of the river. Now you know that the river flows from higher level to lower level. Now if it is flowing from northeast to southwest, here is the source of the river. Is it northeast? If you stand here facing the river, your right is right and your left is left. Hence, Mitan settlement is situated on the right bank of the Sipu Nadi. This is how you have to calculate or find out the location of the Mitan village. Now, never do the guesswork that if it is not right, it must be left. If it is not left, it must be right. No, you must follow these steps to arrive at the correct answer. It's very important. Next, we find here there is a question that what is the direction of Rampura from Karja? Now, if you look at this, the directions, Rampura is situated in the southwest and Karja is situated in the northeast. That means the question being, which direction is Karja from Rampura? So we say that Karja is situated to the northeast of Rampura. This is the simple answer. Therefore, directions are used for the finding out the flow of the river, the situation of the towns on the bank of the river, and the direction of town from the other. This same thing you will find well explained in the second chapter of the textbook. Now we come to the measuring distances. As I told you that the distances can be measured as per the scale, and the scale of the map is 2 cm is equal to 1 km. Now suppose the question is, what is the distance between Gulabganj and Pithampura? As the crow flies, if it is asked as the crow flies, it means the straight distance, and straight distances can be measured with the help of a scale. the distance between the Gulabganj and Pithopuram is 2.5 kilometer. As we had done, the scale is given below the survey sheet. What you can do is see the center of Gulabganj, see the center of Pithopuram, measure it with the scale and put it on the scale which is given in the survey sheet at the bottom. Put it on 0 and see how many kilometers, complete kilometers it is. It is 2 kilometers. And then mark it again and put it on 0. You will see it is covering 5 small boxes. That means the distance is 2 kilometer and 500 meters or 2.5 kilometer. Now we come to the curved road, river or canal. Can you see here? There is a curved road, metal road, a canal is here, this one, and a river is there which is not a straight line, which is curved. Now for that you are given 20 meters thread in the examination. You will first to measure it with this thread. I will just explain to you. Take the thread, knot it first, put a knot, mark it and put it at the starting point of, suppose you are going to measure the distance of the length of the metal road. So put that knot here, take it slowly along the road and at every outer curve stop, put it with your thumb there, again take it to the outer curve, again stop, again take it to the end. Now you have covered the distance in the thread. Mark that point. After that, put it on 0 in the given scale under your in the bottom of your survey sheet. Put it on 0 and see how many total kilometers you have got. Suppose it is 3 kilometers plus little extra distances there. Mark that point at 3 kilometer. Now take it to the 0 again and on the left side see how many small boxes is it covering. Suppose it is covering 3 small boxes. So your answer would be 3 kilometers and 300 meters or 3.3 kilometers. So with the help of a thread you can measure the curved surfaces. With this we finish our second session on the video. Thank you.